Yo guys, it's me, Mike Rotchburns, and welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of, you call that targeting? It's great to have football back.
That could be the worst intro I've ever heard. My gosh!
I'm sorry.
I give you one chance on my show, Mike, to do the intro, and you absolutely blew it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you better be sorry. Hit that music again and let me do the intro over. Yo fam, it's me, Sasha Dimbright, and welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of You Call That Targeting? My gosh! Football is back, baby. Week 1 is here. Forget about week 0 and the trash games that we had. We actually got some ranked matchups coming up this week. And that, my friends, Mike, is how you do an intro. Yours was straight garbage. Anyways, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get into our team of the week. Me and Mike both have picked a team of the week. Mine is going to be Northwestern. Here they are. We're pretty big underdogs against Nebraska. Everybody thought Nebraska was going to turn the table or turn the curve. I don't know what you turn, but Nebraska was going to turn it, apparently. And everybody's like, oh, Scott Frost, this is his year. This is his year. Nebraska's going to be better. And Northwestern just rolled all over them. I mean, it wasn't a blowout, but Northwestern handled their business. And so that is my team of the week. Mike, what is your team of the week?
I got to go with the Vanderbilt Commodores. I mean, they really put it to Hawaii. They were at Hawaii. Hawaii had a chance to defeat an SEC team right off the bat, and Vanderbilt beat them 63-10. So I have to give them the team of the week.
Yeah, they better enjoy that success, against Hawaii and upcoming, because the schedule's going to get a lot tougher for Vanderbilt. But yes, they did play very good, so I completely, I'll agree with you. You know, they deserve, I guess, to be called the team of the week in your opinion. But now it's time to talk about trash teams. You normally have multiple trash teams, and then we'll have an absolute trash team, and we're going to do that, but we don't have really a whole lot of games to choose from. But me and Mike agree that Nebraska is this week's trash team of the week. Scott Frost can't have much more in the tank. He could get fired before this season's over with. I mean, Nebraska is just absolute garbage. And, when I said absolute, I had my hand over my mouth, so it sounded like absolute garbage instead of absolute garbage. But, anyways, but now it's time for my absolute trash team of the week. My absolute trash team of the week goes to the Hawaii Warriors. My gosh, it was pathetic. And I know Vanderbilt played good and stuff, and I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I had to watch the highlights because I don't even have CBS Sports Channel on my TV. And it came on at 9:30 at night, so nobody has time for that garbage. But man, I mean, Hawaii looked awful. And you're playing at home. You've had all this time to prepare. And you get blown out by the red-headed stepchild of the SEC, Vanderbilt. That's just embarrassing. Hawaii, you're nothing but garbage. But I do want to go on vacation there. But not to watch your crap football team. Alright, so we're going to move on to, I guess we'll just go to questions. First question is from I Kissed Your Mom Last Night. It says, this question is for Mike. We haven't heard who your favorite NCAA football team is. So, question mark. It's
a good question. I don't have a favorite. I hate to be that guy, but I'm not biased towards anybody. I don't hate any teams, and I don't just passionately, love a team where I lose sleep over a big game. I just like watching football. I love watching, two big teams, go at it. And but I also watch the smaller teams play. I love it all. I love the coaches and their coaching minds, and I love the players getting out there and doing their thing, and I love the recruiting aspect of it. It's just I love college football. I did graduate from Troy University, and so I guess I do favor them a little bit, but I'm not enough to where I would call myself a fan.
Well, I think that's trash. That you don't even cheer for a team. But psh, I mean, go Irish. Next question is from Cup of Fart and Share It. Yes, this question is for Mike. Oh my gosh. Hey Mike, big fan. So glad they got someone with cognitive awareness and a keen mindset I can listen to every week. Question is, I lost, my phone did something weird. Okay, question is, how badly does Auburn have to want it this year to make it to the playoffs?
Well, they're going to have to do more than want it. Auburn has a really tough schedule. I mean, you look at their first two games, they play Mercer and San Jose State at home. Those are easy dubs, right? Well, then they got Penn State at home, and Penn State beat them last year. And does Auburn have the talent to beat Penn State? Probably. There's a good chance they start out 3-0, then they play Missouri at home 4-0. They play LSU at home. That game's always a toss-up, but they beat LSU last year. There's a chance Auburn could be sitting at 5-0 and probably ranked, in the top 15, and everybody's thinking, oh, Auburn's back, Auburn's back. Well, then they go October 8th, and they go on a little stretch here at Georgia, at Ole Miss, then they have a bye week, then they play Arkansas, and then they go at Mississippi State, and then they play Texas A&M. That could be 5 losses in a row. We could be talking about Auburn being 5-5 at that point. And then they play Western Kentucky, should be a win, and then they're at Alabama in the last game. So I'm thinking at best we see a 7-5 Auburn. At worst, a 6-6. I mean, so them even sniffing the playoff this year with that little stretch right there, it's not looking very likely for Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn's pretty much mediocre trash. Next question is from Booby Jiggle James. So this question is for Mike. Who told our fans to hit up Mike with every question? This is my podcast. Psh, garbage. Alright, well let's read the question for daggone Mike. What would it take to make you the primary host of this podcast? I think we all can agree that you are the voice of podcast right now. Hashtag Sasha's mediocre. Listen, Booby Jiggle James, you're nothing but garbage. My gosh, this is my podcast. I don't even have to have Mike over here. So, he's never going to be the primary unless he just creates his own dang podcast. Because this is mine. But anyways, Mike, go ahead and answer your question to your number one fan there, Booby Jiggle James.
Well, Sasha, I will answer them, and I think you'll like the way that I answered this. Listen, Booby Jiggle James, I'm very blessed and fortunate to be on this podcast with someone as great as Sasha Dimbright. I'm here to talk football, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy hanging out in the studio with him. He's really taught me a lot, and I think he deserves more credit. And so I kind of don't appreciate you your dogging Sasha Dimbright when he's done a lot of good. And I think this podcast is more about him than me. I'm just here to give my opinions, and I'm just thankful that he allows me to give my opinions.
That was very sweet, Mike. That was really top notch. So I really do appreciate that, and I really appreciate you being part of the podcast. I know I might give you a hard time, but this thing is definitely more fun with a co-host. And by the way, at the end of this, every game of the week from now on, we are going to go to Earl Maynard, and he will be giving his opinion, and he's going to be on location at where the game of the week's going to be. So he is in Columbus, Ohio, for the Notre Dame-Ohio State game. Not a shock that that's the game of the week. So I'm kind of giving it away. But, yeah, Earl's going to be a part of this team as well, and so we're all just having a great time. So, but anyways, we're going to move on to the next question. It's from our good friend, Knapsack McSlapslap. He says, yo, Sasha, the man, Dimbright, the light is so bright. What you think about them USC trash Trojans? You think Lincoln Log's going to bring them back from the dead so Bama can steamroll them over in the playoff? That's a good question. I don't think we're going to see anything right away with USC. Sure, they got to upgrade at coach. They got to upgrade at quarterback. And I'm sure they got some other transfers and stuff that I'm not aware of. but they're still a crap team. They're not going to go undefeated. They're not even going to win 10 games this year. They're not going to sniff the playoff this year. The future, maybe. But yeah, I don't think old Lincoln Logs, as you put it, is going to do much for USC this year. You know, it's just too much to change in 1 year. I don't see them. They're not going to come back from the dead right off the bat. But in the future, maybe. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think in the years to come, I think USC is going to be a powerhouse team. They're going to be able to recruit well. Lincoln Riley is a great coach. He's made it to the playoffs. He's put together really great offenses. But we're not going to see that this year. They might be improved, and they're still a team that if I was a fan of a team playing USC this year, I would be a little nervous about the game. But we hadn't seen them play either, so they could really come out here and as you would say, lay a turd. And yeah, so I mean, we don't know. They will get better. Lincoln Riley is a good coach. They made the right decision hiring him. He's going to be able to recruit very, very good there in South California. So yeah, there'll be something to watch in the future, but not this year.
Next question is from Nacho Man Andy Ravage. He says, will Vandy have their first winning season since 2013? No, it ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry. Yeah, they played great against Hawaii, 63-10 win. They play Elon next. That's gonna be a blowout win, no problem. But then they have to play number 22 Wake Forest, which is kind of a toss-up game. They could win that, they could lose it, whatever. Then they're at Northern Illinois. That's a toss-up game. And then they go September 24th at Alabama. Check that off as a loss. Then they got Ole Miss out of the West. You can say that's a loss. Then they go at Georgia, another loss. Then they got Missouri and South Carolina the next two games. Those are kind of toss-ups. You know, I hadn't seen them play. They might be good, they might not be good. Then they're at Kentucky. Then they got Florida, and then they got Tennessee. So I definitely do not see them having a winning season. So they better just enjoy these first couple of games because it's not looking very, very likely.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Just the fact that you got Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, Wake Forest. I mean, that right there to me is 7 losses. So, yeah, I don't see a winning season. At best, you might see them do a 6-6, but yeah, they're not going to win 7 games with that schedule.
Next question is from Cubed Water Research Team. Who has the most success in the short term and long term, Brian Kelly or Marcus Freeman? So for those that don't know, Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to become LSU's head coach. And Marcus Freeman was the defense coordinator at Notre Dame who was promoted to head coach of the Fighting Irish. I think in the short term, I think both of them are going to kind of have similar seasons. You know, they're both talented teams, but they're going to have some tough schedules. I mean, you got Notre Dame who plays Ohio State and Clemson and at USC. And then you got LSU that has to deal with people, you know, like Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Alabama. Can they put together some good 7 or 8 win years in the short term? Absolutely. But I think in the long term, I think Marcus Freeman is going to have more success than Brian Kelly. I think he's a great recruiter. Notre Dame's an easy place to recruit. And let's face it, I mean, LSU, they had a perfect team with Joe Burrow a few years ago. And they did it with a crap coach. And I don't think Brian Kelly wins the big games. He didn't do it at Notre Dame. A lot of people blame it on Notre Dame, but maybe it was Brian Kelly's coaching. Maybe it was his coaching style that couldn't win the big games. He couldn't beat the Alabamas or you know, the big teams. And you know, you get to the playoffs and you get blown out. You know, I mean, they've done that. And so I think maybe we see Marcus Freeman be more successful in the big games. And we'll find out this Saturday against Ohio State how Marcus Freeman will do. Next question is from Sasquatch himself. It looks like I should get the chance to go to the Alabama-Texas A&M game this year. Do you think this is the smallest cupcake that Alabama plays, or which game do you think will be Alabama's hardest of the regular season? Also, I like tater tots. Well, Sasquatch, I love tater tots as well. Definitely Sonic when they put some chili and cheese on it. My gosh, it's good. But Alabama, I would say they're definitely going to have easier games than Texas A&M. I mean, I think A&M is going to be a good team, but it is a revenge game, and I think Alabama will beat the brakes off of Texas A&M in Tuscaloosa. But yeah, I mean, they start out with Utah State, and they're like 41-point favorites. So, I mean, I would probably say that that's a cupcake game. But the toughest in regular season, I would probably say they go at Arkansas and they go at Ole Miss. But I would probably say at Ole Miss, just, Ole Miss has given them fits before. But the thing is, I hadn't seen Ole Miss play. I don't really know how their, offense is going to look this year. I think Arkansas might be a little bit more completed as a team. But I think one of those games will be the toughest, but I really don't see anybody beating Bama this year. I think they're going to just sweep on through and go 12-0. So we are going to take a phone call from Skidmark Haynes. Skidmark Haynes, you're on with Sasha Dimbright.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. This is it's really exciting. I just wanted to ask a question about how the college football, how they rank teams, because I don't really agree with how they rank teams. Because you look at this Saturday, you got number 2 Ohio State playing number 5 Notre Dame, and Ohio State is 17-point favorite. And I don't understand if you think that if you really truly think that Notre Dame is a number 5 team in the nation, how can you say that they're 17-point underdog? Is Ohio State really that good? If they're really that good, then maybe they should be the number 1 team in the nation. Or if you're saying Notre Dame is bad, maybe they shouldn't be even in the top 25. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I think that we need to do something about it.
Well, I would agree. We see this every year. We see that there's teams that apparently are they're either overranked or they're underranked. And I don't understand the disrespect that Notre Dame's getting. If you're saying that they're the number 5 team in the nation and that they deserve to be in the top 5, and you're saying the number 2 team beats them by 17 points, it's not even really a game. So yeah, I don't get it. I do think it's ridiculous, and I think that maybe preseason rankings are absolute crap for that reason, because we don't know how either team's going to look. We don't know what Georgia is going to look like. We don't know what anybody's going to look like, and so I think it's pretty crap that we do these preseason rankings and that we come out with these ridiculous spreads of teams not even like Notre Dame can't even keep it close against Ohio State. I mean, is Ohio State really? We really think they're going to be that good? I don't know. I agree with you. I think it's absolute trash. But we are going to move on and pick our games of the week, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Alright, so we're going to try to move kind of quickly through this. Okay, so we got a few games to choose from. We're normally going to do top 25 matchups, but there was one game that really intrigued me and Mike, and so we're going to pick it. So let's get right into it. Cincinnati at Arkansas. I got Arkansas. Who do you got, Mike?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Arkansas as well. I think that it's going to be a tough environment at Arkansas, and I just don't think Cincinnati's going to be as good as they were last year.
All right. Next, we have Oregon versus Georgia. It is at an alternate site, but it's in Atlanta, and so that's really a home game for Georgia. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that Oregon gets it done. They went into Ohio State last year and beat them, and I think Bo Nix is going to really show out in an Oregon jersey, and I think that he hands the Dogs an opening loss.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I'm going with the Dogs. I mean, they're the national champions. They're coached very well. They're stacked with talent. I think Stetson Bennett's going to have a great year, and I definitely see Georgia winning that game pretty much with ease.
So here's the other game that we were going to pick. It's not a top 25 matchup, but it kind of feels like it is. It's number 7 Utah at Florida, a night game in the Swamp. As of right now, Utah is only a 3-point favorite to beat Florida. And but here's my opinion. I don't think they walk into the Swamp and come out with a win. I think this Florida team's fired up. I think Billy Napier has done a great job getting these guys ready. And I think Anthony Richardson's going to really light it up. And it's hard for me to wrap my brain around an opening game, a night game in the Swamp, against a ranked team where you know Florida's going to be 100% locked in and focused. I don't think Utah wins this game. I'm going with the Florida Gators.
I think that's a great pick. I think this game is one of the bigger toss-up games of the week. I mean, I think you flip a coin on who wins this game. I'm going to go with Utah. I mean, I think their quarterback's outstanding. I think they overcome the adversity of playing in the Swamp, and I think they find a way to win. This is a team that could end up in the playoff at the end of the year.
Well, all right. We're going to go to our game of the week now, which is Notre Dame at Ohio State. And we're gonna get Earl involved with this. He's gonna help us pick our game of the week every week. And so Earl is in a hotel in Columbus, Ohio, getting ready for this big matchup. So Earl, what's kind of the buzz around Columbus?
Well, I'd say that in Columbus here, they're thinking that Notre Dame players are going to have to just bring their own coffins because they're going to kill every single one of them on the field. Fans are saying it's going to be an absolute massacre, and there's no doubt in their minds that Ohio State's going to blow right through this game and end up in the playoff at the end of the year.
Well, I think the fans are nothing but garbage, if I had to say so myself. Because, of course, I think everybody knows who I'm going with. I'm going with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Pull the upset. I'm sick of the garbage that nobody's giving us any respect, that we can't win some big games. Marcus Freeman is going to take us in there to Columbus, and we're going to absolutely whip some booties. I'm sick of Ohio State. I'm sick of the disrespect. Go Irish, and I hope it's 56-0. I hope it's just a complete blowout so everybody sees how good Notre Dame's going to be this year. Mike, who do you got?
Well, you're not going to like it because I'm going to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think they're just really stacked. I think C.J. Stroud's going to be one of the better quarterbacks this year. I think they're going to get the job done. Maybe they don't beat them by 17. I'm hoping for a closer game than that, but I really don't think Ohio State's going to lose this game. Earl, what about you?
Well, I agree with you, Mike. I think the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to absolutely, you didn't say destroy them or anything. I guess I just made that up on my own. But so I guess I don't really necessarily agree with exactly what you said. But I think Ohio State's going to absolutely beat the mess out of Notre Dame. I don't think it'll be that close of a game. I don't even know why this is our game of the week, to be honest, because it will be a blowout.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that, Earl. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Can't wait to get to this next week to review these games. Going to be some good football this week in week 1. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.